I swear it all started so innocently. It started with Carpool Karaoke and Dynamite, but it wasn't actually that. I just wanted to know the names of the guy in green and the guy with the crazy aqua hair. A week later, I wanted to know the name of the guy with the jeans and the blazer, who's the front man during the hip thing. And then I had to know the name of the guy with the pinkish hair and those crazy twinkling eyes. And then I had to know the name of the guy who has got the happiest face and exuberance about him in the world from Carpool Karaoke. And that was it. I was in. At that point I started studying them. First RM, and then J-Hope, and then Jimin, and then it just was a floodgate, an avalanche, a snowball that took over everything. Better way to put it might be a puzzle that I'm putting together, but as I'm putting together, the puzzle keeps growing. And a huge part of why that's the case is because I am late to the army. I did not know about them until September of last year. That's crazy. That means it's been 4 months, 4 or 5. My life, since they became popular, has not allowed me to focus on pop culture, which was at one point in my life, most of my life, something I really enjoyed. I'm kind of over pop culture at this moment. My fascination with BTS has nothing to do with pop culture. And while a part of me is sad and feels like maybe I haven't earned the right to be an ARMY, God brought BTS to me at the time of my life when I need them. I did not need them in 2017 when they got huge for Blood, Sweat, and Tears. I did not need them a year ago when On and Fake Love and Black Swan were all blowing up huge online. I needed them now. Yeah, in September, Carpool Karaoke with them, with James Corden, kept popping up in my YouTube feed. At the time I was watching, I'd stopped watching many beauty YouTube videos and was actually watching more along the lines of some commentary on society like PRXO. And this one video kept popping up in my suggestions that I was not really interested in. I think I'd watched one Carpool Karaoke before, and I adore James Corden. He's really cool, but I don't know, again, my time and brain power are limited these days. But this crazy large group of charismatic looking young guys, yeah, it just kept popping up. And now I've heard whispers of BTS for a long time, so I finally decided to click it. Haven't heard any of their music. I loved it. They were so cute. The whole thing, I think 17 minutes, was adorable. And I loved it, and but still, that was it. I was like, okay, now I know who they are a little bit. I can move on with my life. Then I watched it again to show to my husband, and that time some of the songs they were singing stuck with me, and I didn't know what they were, so I Googled them. So then Dynamite popped into my suggestions, and I thought, okay, well, I've now seen them talk. Let's go ahead and watch one of their videos. And it was magical. And I don't have to go into that. If you've watched it, if you're watching this video, you already know Dynamite was magical. That was my introduction to them. And I think a lot of the world that was sleeping on them. When BTS came into my life with Dynamite, I had just slipped a disc in my back and was having a very hard time walking, sleeping, sitting, standing, anything. I was in a rough shape, and I was in back rehab 4 days a week for a while. At the same time as that, I had been going through a mental health crisis for a long time. When Dynamite first came in my life, I wasn't in the depths of the mental health crisis. I had been there and had kind of resurfaced to get some air for a little while. I didn't realize that within 2 months I would be back into the deep part of the ocean with mental health crisis. And thankfully, the month or so primer I'd had with BTS helped me. So Dynamite, as I was watching it and it was blooming to me in new ways every time I watched it, there were new scenes to catch and twinkles in each of their eyes and the way that each of them moved differently that kept drawing me in, and I still couldn't quite pinpoint what about it was magical, but then I needed a little more BTS. And then I decided to watch Carpool Karaoke again now that I've actually been watching the video to try to pinpoint who is who. And I was like, well, okay, remember, and I'd forgotten Carpool Karaoke at this point, so I'm like, okay, remember this one guy has got aqua hair, this guy has blonde hair, this guy kind of has pink hair, and okay, so that wasn't gonna work. At this point I'm like, okay, I have to learn some names and I have to learn their faces. I actually have to figure out who's who if I want to know this. And for some reason I felt a calling to know this. I needed to know who a few of them were. And then I saw On, the Com Prima Manifesto video. It was incredible. It took my breath away. They amazed me in whole new ways. They looked totally different yet again. And then I watched Black Swan, and then the magic. How do they keep doing this? They are masters of transformation. They are reinvention kings. So at this point, all right, fellas, you got me hooked. I'm addicted. I need to know more. I watched those few videos over and over and over, and when I would go in for back rehab, I would play the Dynamite YouTube video on a loop, and I imagined being able to do that dance. I imagined being able to learn that dance, because at that point everything made me cry. Moving made me cry. Watching the video enough, I could actually see the dance in my head and thought about being able to do that, and that was an exhilarating feeling for me and very motivational. So men, I'm taking names. I need to know the names of you people, taking my breath away. And then one night in October, I thought I would pull up a little commentary video from Psych IRL or from PRXO, and instead popped up a recommended video, and I wish I could find it. I would have to dig so freaking far back in my YouTube history. I still don't know if I'd find it. It was a video about how BTS formed. It's about the origins of them, and it talked about how they were kind of a mishmash of guys from very different backgrounds with very different interests who had some had been scouted from different competitions. Some had, they were kind of poached from other competitions, and some who auditioned, and it was really a fascinating video, and then I was even more hooked. By the end of October, I had absorbed those 4 videos on Black Swan, Fake Love, and Dynamite. They were encoded in my DNA at this point. I tried to get my husband into it. He wasn't feeling it. He's an Alabama Shakes kind of guy. And every video is such a massive production and these weird storylines that I needed to make sense out of and wasn't able to. Like, why is J-Hope in a carnival room locked in and crying in a vat of Snickers? Which, by the way, when I learned the story of what that scene represents, and I'm not gonna blow anything here just in case you don't know, it is so sad, because I was thinking Fake Love might be about the 7 sins. I'm trying to piece together the different scenes, and of course I don't know Korean, so yeah, I'm trying to piece this together. And I was like, okay, are we talking gluttony here, the pursuit of fun? And I finally Googled it, and oh my god, it's tragic. I told my husband, because he's actually seen the video with me a few times. My husband is not a dramatic man. He looked up from his plate and said, "That is the saddest thing I have ever heard." And for a couple minutes, he was taken back. He's like, "I wouldn't want to listen to a band that makes me feel that way." But still, I was enraptured. I needed to know what was up with Jen's reflection and Black Swan. I needed to know things. So November started, and here's where I fell into the well. I stumbled onto another music video. Run. Love the song. Wonderful song. The music video. Another amazing production. Another crazy storyline that is incomplete. Another incomplete storyline. I need to know. There's no way these scenes are in a bottle. So now I have overwhelming questions that I need answers for yet again. What's up with Nirvana's shirt? What's up with the water? Why is Jimin so... And what is up with the last scene? Oh, that led over into I Need You. The story starts to come together a little more, but oh my gosh, what is happening here? And I don't want to Google everything because once upon a time, my husband and I were having a conversation, and he said that one of his least favorite things when people are talking now is that we don't have conversations. We don't spend time trying to actually think about anything, we Google it. As soon as we're having a conversation, it's like, hey, there was a movie I saw this person in once. What movie might it have been? We don't sit and discuss it. We don't have a good 5-minute conversation that might lead down a well of talking about movies we've enjoyed. Instead, we just... Snowpiercer. You saw her in Snowpiercer. I refused to go down the well of just Googling all of it and getting answers, because at this point I realized the band had been around for a really long time and has a huge fan base, which I didn't really realize, I should have known, and that there are apparently theories out there. There's answers to some things, theories to many more. I didn't want to be inceptioned. And I wouldn't watch any new content from them because there's a ton of it. And I realized there's a bunch more videos I hadn't seen. There's behind the scenes stuff. There's a bunch of like thousands and thousands and thousands of meme videos on YouTube. Some of which are really cute, but most of which are really stupid. BTS videos that keep me awake at 2 a.m. Whatever, they have a million views on each of them, so who am I to say anything? But some of the reasons I stopped watching new content is because I felt, one, like rewatching the ones I had seen was important because there's so many things happening in them. And there are threads that weave between the videos, little silk threads that weave between them. So I felt like I needed to rewatch. Second off, I had fallen in love. I had fallen in love in a way that I have not fallen in love with anything in a very, very, very long time. What if I keep watching and I hit a crappy patch of videos? What if I keep watching and find out the members are douchebags? What if I keep watching and they become too human and I don't feel enthralled by their work anymore? I didn't know if I could handle being let down by the magic disappearing, or if I could handle seeing just a bunch of crappy production videos after being so amazed by what I had seen so far. Which, the music video for Save Me totally reconciled any feelings I had about a low production video. Stellar. What I did decide to do, since I wasn't going to ingest any new YouTube content, was I downloaded almost their whole catalog onto my Spotify and made just a playlist of, I think, 296 of their songs, and then some of them were remixes, like the Mic Drop remix with Steve Aoki. Little did I know that Spotify playlist was going to be essential in my life just a couple weeks later. I'm gonna cry. On November 29th, 2020, I woke up in a really dark place. I don't mean literally. I mean within me. It's a darkness. I still feel it right now. It had been building up already. It was coming before that day. I woke up It had been building up. It is a pain that I cannot outrun. It is something that is now here with me that I can't get away from. It is something it's a pain that I don't know if I'll ever be able to reconcile, and that's the scariest and most painful part of it. But that day I couldn't outrun that pain at all. The weight of it crushed me. The darkness of it absolutely crushed me. And I'm a crier anyhow, but yikes. I woke up that day and at about 11 a.m. I brought myself down to this couch and collapsed on it. And I couldn't get myself up. I spent the whole day there until like 8:30 at night. I kept thinking I need to get up, I should get up, I have to get up, and I couldn't get up for anything. Not for food, not for drink, not for the bathroom, not for my husband, not for my kids. I lay there and cried, and I watched the sun turn into noon and turn into afternoon and then disappear into darkness. And I laid there, really wanting to not exist anymore. And I put earphones on and played that playlist the entire course of time that I laid on that couch. And then in my notebook, I had a notebook with me. I started jotting notes. Chunks of lines that I heard, names of songs. Most of it's in Korean, almost all of it's in Korean. I couldn't understand almost anything I listened to, and yet I was so moved that it made me want to be alive, just to hear it. It's kind of the only thing that made me want to be alive. But I was so thankful that I wanted to hear that there was something that made me want to breathe. As the day went on, and realizing the only thing keeping me breathing in that moment was the grace of God. If it's grace for me to still be breathing. And the soul and sound of BTS, those are the two things keeping me alive that day. I decided then that I was going to get a tattoo. I decided BTS deserved a place permanently on me, and it's a large concept tattoo, conspicuous bangtan. We're gonna hop to early December now. One night I was watching YouTube and stumbled across August D, which I couldn't figure out for a while. Is Suga from BTS, and saw Joshua Ta, probably butchered that. Watched it with Marcus, and Marcus was all about that. He really liked, there was a Netflix show he really dug, I can't remember the name of it. But it had this super historic, beautiful sacred buildings, and the plot line of August D's video was pretty powerful. Marcus doesn't like watching music videos anyhow, so I kind of decided to hop on the opportunity and play the next one, which was Blood, Sweat, and Tears. And man, did I kind of regret playing that. And it popped up in my recommended videos right there after August D, and the view count amazed me. So I clicked yes, we watched it. That's kind of the moment I decided I shouldn't watch music videos with Marcus anyhow, because he's not going to have the excitement that I have over everything. And on top of that, you know when you're watching a movie or a show with someone else who has a very different feeling about things than you do, and the vibe, you can feel their vibe and it's altering what you're seeing. I'm watching this video. It's late anyhow at this point. Marcus is a little overstimulated by the world. Music videos, like they're rough on him. There are people who have sensitivities to moving scenes and flashing lights and things like that. Blood, Sweat, and Tears is the wrong video for you. On top of that, there's so much to unpack in that video. There is so much to unpack in Blood, Sweat, and Tears. And upon initial watching of it, especially, with somebody who wasn't feeling it anyhow and isn't amazed by all of this journey. It just felt weirdly hypersexual, and I'm not a prude, but it seemed hypersexual and flashy for the sake of being hypersexual and flashy. Just like Mic Drop seems like a flex video, nothing but a flex video for the sake of flexing without the context behind it. So I didn't even dig Blood, Sweat, and Tears. It was my least favorite video I had seen from them, and I was like, well, that was disappointing. But a week or two later, I couldn't help myself. I kept thinking about the video and I wanted to see it again. I wanted to give it another shot because I realized part of my feelings on it was that I couldn't be objective because of the person next to me. So I tried it again and again, and then I watched it again, and a couple days later I watched it again, and that was it. The whiskey called BTS once again had me. And then I finally decided to watch with the closed captions on, and I would like to say it made more sense with the closed captions. It didn't. I mean, it did a teeny bit, but not really. But I will say I saw references in Blood, Sweat, and Tears to Black Swan. There were things that started to kind of link together a little more again, which amazed me because the videos were made a couple years apart and very self-referential, which was cool. But then the real kicker is I eventually saw a video breaking down Blood, Sweat, and Tears. There's not an accident in a single video. There's nothing, like everything. Same thing with Fake Love. Everything from the choreography to their hand gestures to their facial expressions to the scenes to every little detail in a scene. Everything matters. In fact, yesterday I was seeing a reaction video to I Need You, and there's a scene with Jin in bed, and there's a carpet on the floor, and I never noticed it before, but the reaction people did, and they were like, oh, it's just a carpet. And I was like, oh my gosh, no, it's not. It's important. It has the Grecian key emblems on it, and I actually think that means something based on Blood, Sweat, and Tears. And see, this is what happens. This is what happens. The more you watch, the more you... Oh my gosh, there's so much to unpack. When I watched the video about Blood, Sweat, and Tears, breaking down that it's actually based on a Hermann Hesse novel, I bought the Hermann Hesse novel, which I'm about 2/3 the way through now. And now the video, the reference video that talked about different parts of it, broke it down and said this is a reference to this in the book, this is a reference to this in the book. That helped. Reading the book, every ounce of the video makes sense. It's incredible. The book is incredible so far, even though I already know the end. That's the crazy part. And I love it. And then the video, oh my god, the video is a masterpiece. Yoongi playing the organ. Also, this is the point where I ordered books to learn Korean. I committed. I wanted to learn Korean very badly. I wanted to understand this language. French people, you got nothing on Koreans. Korean is the sexiest language on the planet, I swear. It's so beautiful. It just, the way it flows is so beautiful. French people, you are overrated. Listening to Korean is where it's at. And so now I'm learning how to speak it, and that sounds choppy and terrible, but I do understand a lot of their music now. I mean, chunks and phrases. But what I really needed at this point was somebody to be excited with. Oh my gosh. People in my life don't get it, and I want to feel not alone. I really want to feel not alone. Then I discovered Briz X Life, Briz by Life, I don't know. Then I discovered Briz and his reaction videos, which are phenomenal and hilarious. And I felt like I was watching with a best friend and getting excited all over about all the same scenes and videos. And since they're his first reactions, I'm sitting there going, oh, I know what's coming. You thought that was cool, just wait. He's like a best friend, and I'm thankful for him. And then that led down a well of me watching reaction videos, which seems really weird because I've never liked reaction videos, just like I've never liked boy bands. I've never liked reaction videos. I just don't get into them. Not my thing. But I understand now, because if you're lonely and you're excited by something that other people in your life aren't excited by, a reaction video is a great way to experience and capture that kind of camaraderie with somebody and to bottle that excitement for a bit longer. So I watch a lot of reaction videos. So many of them are terrible. Terrible. Some of them are really good. And indeed, I will probably make a video of my favorite reactioners to share at some point. Not today. Right now, I may try to link them in the bottom if I remember to. There's not a ton of middle ground with reactioners. Either they're really good or they're really terrible. Definitely have a whole list of like what made them really good versus, gee, you just really suck. So my question is, where are my Noonas at? I need you, girl. Well, there are definitely reaction videos I really like, G's Day Day and Briz and Faux K-pop Squat. There are people that I like, but what I'm missing is somebody to interact with, somebody to actually one-on-one interact with, and to be able to talk about, did you see this video, and are you reading this book, and when I go to the concert, do you want to get a ticket and go with me? I'm looking for another Noona, or 20, or 100. And if we weren't in the middle of a pandemic, I would host a frickin' party, because I actually read where a woman in California did that to connect with her local Noonas, but we're in the middle of a pandemic, so yay, fun. So please, 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 if you're a Noona and you've actually been watching this video, then you actually are interested in BTS. And please reach out in the comments and let's get a back and forth going. Let's get to know each other a little bit. Let's support each other, because if you're anything like me, you're feeling pretty isolated in your... This isn't just a phase. Like, oh, I just like their music. These 7 men in Korea changed my life. For the better. For however long I'm alive, my life is better because of them. And I have more hope in my day because of these 7 20-something guys from South Korea. That matters. That means something. And somehow they came together. God brought the 7 of them together with along with the head of Big Hit Entertainment. The 8 of them were brought together. The ARMY, as their fan bases call it, obviously. ARMY has been drawn to them. ARMY has been drawn together. And apparently have done some pretty amazing things over the last few years in the name of social justice. And I'm proud. You know, for the first month or two it was awkward being like, yeah, I'm a 41-year-old ARMY. And now I just freaking embrace it, because why wouldn't I? I'm proud, and I also don't care what people think anymore. I'm beyond that. I don't care. Please, please, if you're a Noona, reach out to me. I'm clearly begging at this point. I'm gonna try to stop rambling here. I'm just so excited, and I really have hopes for this video reaching one person, somebody. So this is my first Sugar Sunday. You can count on more of these, because they're gonna happen. I'm so excited about BTS. I hate to do this just every Sunday. I kind of want to do one of these videos every day, but I can't. I've got a life and toddlers and emotional burnout and therapy and mental health crisis and other interests that I'm going to cover. So if you're a Noona, hit subscribe. If you're not interested in, you know, other things that I do, just tune in for Sunday videos. And I did ponder making this a second channel. I'm not. Maybe I should. I don't know. No, because BTS is a part of my fucking over 40 journey. And I'm not gonna relegate that to just a fandom YouTube account. And I'm not gonna make my 40-something account being an old fart. So, boom, BTS and 35 and over beauty and life and mental health. Boom, that's what we do here. So welcome, friend love, introduce yourself. I would love to get to know you, and God bless you. BTS bless you, and you never walk alone.